I got nothing. I have no comebacks. This is the worst. Give me one. Give me something.
What kind of comeback would you want?
Something that's going to like make you hurt.
What was it John Mulaney said? All you have to do is ask a 12-year-old and they'll
Dang.
find the one thing that you're self-conscious about.
Literally. It'd be like, oh, your forehead is so big. Why is it so big?
Ouch. That's the one right there.
Yeah, well, no, I'm just saying that. It's not like I'm saying your forehead is big. I'm just like picking something that a 12-year-old would say.
No, I've got a 6 head. I get it,
I'm looking at you now. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm literally just kidding. Oh my God.
Sure.
I'm kidding, I swear. Okay, let's do the thing we were meant to do instead of just this.
Perfectly executed.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Welcome back to The Critics in the Crowd, the podcast where we solve the political divide in our country.
Really?
Yes, by covering the media that divides critics and audiences. We will find that middle ground where we, as lovers of movies, can come together and build a brighter tomorrow. We are more alike in that which binds us than that which divides us, no matter how high or how low our Rotten Tomatoes scores are. We are here to cut through the morass to find the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Or we can mock each other for our taste in films.
Yeah, that sounds easier.
I'm Liz Ramirez, one half of this co-production team. In other words, I am the cool co-host of this here podcast. I'm an actress, producer, and movie lover and big time Little China hater. Okay?
I guess you're not burying the lead there. In any case, you know me, you know my voice. I'm Steele Philippek, media producer, filmmaker, whatever you'd like to call me. Today, we're going to be doing something a little different. Typically, Liz and I cover films that have at least a 25% difference on Rotten Tomatoes. That is, films where there is a full star difference between what professionals and amateur moviegoers enjoy.
But in this segment, which we're calling Double Feature, Steele and I are assessing each other's films from yesteryear that don't quite qualify for our normal procedures on Critics in the Crowd. Maybe their cult status means that though they were box office bombs or critical poison when they first released, their esteem has risen to the point that they're not at all that divisive anymore.
Or maybe there aren't enough reviews for a film to qualify, which can happen when a film goes straight to streaming, DVD, or in the antediluvian era, television. How can a viewer know whether a movie is good or not when there aren't enough reviews to grade it? What, are we going to have to go in blind? Like an animal?
Heck no! That's why we're here, to guide you and to torment each other.
And to that end, we are going to start off with the first of our premiere double feature movies.
Big Trouble in Little China.
Big Trouble in Little China. Didn't I just sound like John Carpenter?
That went on too long, Stu.
Oh, you're right. I'll remix it. Fix that in post.
Oh, God. You can add some synth to that if you want. Context.
Big Trouble in Little China hit theaters in July of 1986. It was the brainchild of Gary Goldman, David Z. Weinstein, W.D. Richter, and, especially, director and composer John Carpenter. Carpenter had always wanted to make a martial arts film, and so, despite a recent track record of missteps, failures, and then bombs, and now classics in the forms of Christine, Starman, and The Thing, leveraged what remained of his creative clout, from making smash hits like The Fog, Escape from New York, and especially Halloween, which was at that point the most successful independent film ever made. The filming of this movie is almost as wild as the film itself. Please check out the episode on its creation from the podcast What Went Wrong, which details troubled film productions and is a must-listen if you enjoy The Critics in the Crowd. A synopsis.
Long-haul truck driver Jack Burton must help his friend Wang Chi rescue Wang's green-eyed fiancée from bandits in San Francisco's Chinatown, going deep into the underground, often literally, as they face off against the evil sorcerer Lopan, who needs Wang's fiancée to marry him instead to lift an ancient curse that will allow him to conquer the world.
The film featured a bevy of martial arts masters such as Carter Wong, legendary character actors like Victor Wong and James Hong, up-and-coming stars Dennis Dunn and Kim Cattrall, and the big man himself, Kurt Russell. It was Russell's idea, along with Carpenter, to play the film's biggest joke, that Russell's character, Jack Burton, would actually be the sidekick to the story, while Dunn's character, Wang Chi, would actually be the hero.
But the audience wasn't in on the joke. Neither was I. Big Trouble in Little China was a box office bomb. It cost somewhere in the neighborhood of $20 to $25 million to make, or about $50 to $65 million in today's cash, and yet had a paltry box office pull of just north of $11 million. Critics were unkind to the film as well, but in the intervening years, its esteem has only grown.
The advent of VHS and cable television gave the film a second and third life, where audiences found much to love in its goofy humor and increasingly insane plot. Audiences also finally managed to get a hold of the films that inspired it, such as Encounters of the Spooky Kind and Mr. Vampire, weird amalgamations of horror, comedy, and action that were largely unseen in the United States upon their release, but had found life with mom-and-pop video stores looking for cheap titles to fill their shelves. Once viewed as a late-night B-movie at best, Big Trouble in Little China has become a film that Russell, Wong, Dunn, Cattrall, and Carpenter all say is a fan favorite when they meet people on the streets and at conventions. It's certainly a favorite of mine. Liz, what had you heard about this film coming in?
Steele, I knew absolutely nothing going into this movie. It wasn't until the film was about 20 minutes from finishing where I knew I had seen any of this movie before. It's the one screen grab of the guy's face exploding with the snot coming out of his nose. It was all over my YouTube thumbnails when I was a kid, and it was probably like a Watch Mojo video. LOL. If you know, you know. I think you were really excited to know I knew nothing about this film, Steele, but my friend, my pal, my co-host, why the bleep would you pick this for me?
I didn't choose this for you, Liz. I chose this for the audience, because you all think I'm some kind of fuddy-duddy who only likes to read subtitles in foreign films and examine the inexaminable. But no! I love a fun movie that is in on the joke. I love John Carpenter playing the synthesizer and singing Big Trouble in Little China. I love Kurt Russell wearing lipstick. I love ancient Chinese gods literally riding lightning and exploding in fury. This film has martial arts, explosions, zombies, monsters, and something that one Elizabeth Raquel Ramirez says that she loves. It has a heart.
I can, in fact, argue that in my notes, I wrote, and I quote, I have watched worse movies, but this movie is lacking heart. That's why it's irredeemable to me. Change my mind, Steele. Where is the heart?
It's in every frame of this film.
Okay.
It's in
you sound like me.
the love of the scene craft. It's in Kurt Russell driving a semi-truck onto a set and pulling out a knife as everybody's pulling out guns. It's in a monster screaming in Kim Cattrall's face. It's in Lo Pan switching from his ancient visage to his new one, the magic, and Kurt Russell knocking himself out with rocks and everybody laughing at him. Oh, my Lord, I could go on and on and on. I've seen this movie conservatively 20 times. That's a conservative estimate.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets better with every viewing.
Okay, your passion makes me happy, but I don't know, man. I don't know if I could be swayed. I want to just add this, though, which has nothing to do with anything you've just said. Last night, while I was going through our script and reading your lines about John Carpenter singing, I was like, what the heck? So I looked it up. The song Big Trouble in Little China is by the Coupe de Villes, John Carpenter's band. And my first thought was, he had a band? And my second thought was, and there's a music video? And my third and final thought was, oh, well, of course. I have to say, the song, it kind of slaps. And so does the music video. I do feel like this film should have stayed in music video format, though. It is very camp and 80s weird. John, you're a little freak. I love you. The premise.
Okay, Liz, rather than go through an entire synopsis, here on Double Feature episodes, we get to give a Cliff Notes version of the film from each other's perspectives. That means you're up first. Then, after 2 minutes, I'm going to grade you.
Hey!
And see just how well you were paying attention. Do you think you can sum up the grandeur that is Big Trouble in Little China in just under 120 seconds?
I'm going to try.
All right. On the clock.
We open with rough and rowdy truck driver Jack Burton. He's hunky, he's crass, and he's our guy. After chasing an unpaid gambling debt owed to Jack by fellow long-haul truck driver Wang Chi, he gets jolted into gang-related hijinks that may fall into the realm of incredibly shocking cultural appropriation. After Chi's unbelievably green-eyed fiancé is kidnapped by the Lords of Death gang. There is gang violence and magical gang violence. It's Mortal Kombat meets the Warriors. Oh, and there's Kim Cattrall. She plays Gracie Law, a Chinatown attorney at law, because, of course, she leads the subplot of exposing the undercover prostitution ring being run in Little China. They must save Chi's fiancé, and in the process, lose very obviously green contact-eyed Kim Cattrall, who was also nabbed by the LOD, Lords of Death. They must be saved from becoming the wives of James Hong, who plays the beyond geriatric crypt keeper gang leader David Lo Pan. Jack questions every second of the goings-on in this film, and so do we. With a mixture of awkward editing, Jim Henson-type puppets, and a script written by a first grader, this movie will make you ask only one question. Why? Ultimately, the day is saved, but the audience is left with a cliffhanger. Jack Burton leaves to return to his Pork Chop Express trucker life. But alas, Jim Henson's monster rides on the back. Maybe he also wants to escape the brothel life. Credits roll to the tune of the Coupe de Ville's hit single, Big Trouble in Little China.
Big trouble in Little China.
Thank you.
That was perfect. That was under 2 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, full props to you.
Thank you. It was 260 words, and I checked.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
A couple points of deduction. We didn't get to hear about the third act
God.
breaks and all the
I had
tests.
2 minutes!
Mm-hmm. I would have liked to have learned a little bit more about the pathos and characterization that Jack Burton goes through. And then there was also martial arts action that you kind of glossed over. That's a big part of the movie.
What? I mean, there is so much of it. How am I supposed? I needed one sentence of it. I feel like, and that kind of, it kind of just happens. There's like these 3 guys, the Storms. I don't know. And then there's also another gang, the Wang Kong, I think. And then I don't know. I was lost. So you're lucky that you got anything from me. Okay.
The editorialization also was mildly inappropriate. I think we could have stuck to the facts and nothing but the facts.
God,
That being said, this is
my first one.
I was just about to say this is our first one, so I'm going to go a little easy on you. But I'm watching you, counselor. I'm going to give you a B. B minus. B.
B is fine. I'll take B. Whatever. Did I cry when I got my first B when I was in school? Yeah, I did. I'm not going to cry now because I'm stronger. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Thank you, Kelly Clarkson. Memorable scenes.
These films, even when they're trashy or terrible, should have some elements that stick out in your mind. So, we're going to go over those beats from Big Trouble in Little China. What sticks out in your memory, Liz, good and bad? What moments do you immediately think of when you talk shop?
The green contacts on both actresses. And I know that, why is that the first thing that comes to mind? It's really the tiniest thing. But the whole film, I was like, why do Kim's eyes look weird? She doesn't have green eyes, does she? So I looked at a picture of Kim Cattrall and was like, she does not have green eyes. Then I realized, 45 minutes into the thing, that it's for the plot. And then I couldn't stop thinking about it the whole time. Next, we've got James Hong as Lopon. He eats this character right up. It is the perfect amount of creepy, campy, villainous mess. Next up, why were there Mortal Kombat characters in this film?
No. Mortal Kombat stole characters from this film.
What?
So this is all based kind of in Chinese mythology, but also in the concepts of wuxia, which are the wire fu movies that you might be familiar with. Most famously, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon with Michelle Yeoh and Chow Yun-fat. And Ang Lee is the director. So anytime you see characters flying through the air with mystical powers, those all go back to these mostly Cantonese films known as wuxia films, which dealt in mysticism and demons and martial arts. And then in the 70s, that began to shift with Bruce Lee. He became much more interested in the martial arts aspect of it rather than the mysticism, and that's where we get Jet Li and Jackie Chan and Chuck Norris and all of these kind of fighters, Jean-Claude Van Damme. So this is kind of evoking a slightly different aura, and Mortal Kombat lifted that wholesale. It's called chop socky, which kind of has some problematic connotations to it, but it's supposed to be a big embrace and send up of those tropes. And Big Trouble in Little China is one of the first American films to try and do that, and it's probably one of the reasons why it faltered, because audiences were not yet used to those styles of films. Now, people really like Mr. Vampire and various other films of that style, and there are lots and lots of examples. I could go into them. There are too many to name. You can find a lot of them on riff tracks. Some are better than others. Some are legitimately good, but others just dig into the camp, and you have to dig into it. If you go into this trying to keep a straight face, you're going to hate this kind of thing.
Dang. You really schooled me.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I was looking for a straight face, but we'll get into this. Let's keep it going down. moments. Let's keep going with these moments. Them being caught in the middle of a gang war, just sitting in the semi-truck that Kurt Russell just so happened to fit in a San Francisco alleyway. Stop playing with me.
No,
That's crazy.
I love that scene. What I love, there's several things I love about that scene. The first is...
I didn't say I loved it. I thought it was dumb.
I love that scene. First of all, Kurt Russell was really driving that semi-truck, and in some instances, he only had 3 inches of clearance on either side. So that's pretty badass just in and of itself. Secondly, I love the progression of that fight. When they're first starting off, those two gangs, when they're not serious, they use guns. Then when they get serious, they pull out their weapons. And by the way, so does Kurt Russell. He pulls out a knife, which I think is hilarious. You know, everybody's got these guns, and he's pulling out his Bowie knife. So funny. Then we get literal gods coming down and lightning and power and using swords and various other weapons and just attacking each other. And then Jack Burton escapes and he runs over Lopan and you have no idea where that's going. And then they literally go into the Chinese underground. Oh my God.
Them escape. Okay, so after what literally I couldn't stop laughing and just saying bruh was when Lopan, his visage or his Michelle visage. Anyway, no, that's where the girls get it. Anyway, he's the young Lopan now, and he's like, hit me. And he gets hit with the semi-truck, but he's not there. He's not like real. And then he blinds them. And then Kurt Russell and his friend Wang, they go into they escape. And he sees a puddle. He's like, my eyes, I can't see. And he throws alleyway puddle water into his eyes. That's when I knew this was a movie. Mm-hmm. A movie. I screamed. I scrumped. I was so afraid. This actually is a horror film for me. So, anyway, just kidding. We're fast forwarding the super long scenes with the 3 storms showing off their skills to Lopan. Yeah. Why was that so
awesome?
Long.
Because it's awesome.
Oh.
Because it's so cool. You have to capture it on film. You're just not a connoisseur.
I guess you're right.
Mm-hmm.
The random insertion of the Jim Henson creatures, the puppets. For a second, I thought I was watching Labyrinth. And I did check. They did come out same year. Maybe, the same lot was using them. Maybe they were going back and forth. And they're totally different things. But I'm going to move on. The woman both passing the wife test and Lopan's just like, I will marry both of them.
Yeah, it's every man's dream. Perfect. Actually, it's not every man's dream. I can barely handle one woman.
Oh my God, Steele. Also, this is a direct quote from my live film notes. I'm like active tweeting. I'm live tweeting. It says, just when I think it can't get crazier, it does. The magic wand beam fight, the wand beam, in what looks like a mall they makeshifted into this crazy looking temple. I mean, there's literally an escalator. The fact that the beams are fighting and we see a little cloud with the visual representation of that fight. Listen, Harry Potter could never, okay? Chi kissing his fiance in the end. Oh my gosh, I wanted to crawl into my skin. It looks like she did not want to be doing all that, and he was enjoying the hell out of it. He was going all in. If you go back and watch, oh my God. And last but not least, this guy's head exploding. Yes, it's iconic. Yes, it covered my YouTube thumbnails as a child, and every single movie channel was covering it. I don't know if this is a good or a bad thing, but, whatever. But it's just something I noticed. It's memorable. It's memorable.
My smile is as wide as my face. Oh. I am loving every single thing you're bringing up. And what about the lipstick on Kurt Russell at the very end?
Oh my God. But also him not getting a kiss. He's like, no kiss. And he goes off. He's porked up. He just needs to be a man alone on the road. And he's going to talk to his people on his stereo. Presumably nobody. Presumably all of his friends, I guess, also truck driving. No one else can hear him. And he's like, you know what I do? You know what Jack Burton does at the end of every day? Just like random stuff like that. Like he's Joe Rogan before Joe Rogan. Jack Burton? I don't get how he's supposed to be the sidekick, even though he's like top billing, and he's just kind of like thrown into this world. The whole time he's just like, hey, what are you doing there? And what about this? And hey, Wang, there's something you're not telling me. Why didn't you tell me? He's literally us. I felt like I was Jack Burton.
That's the joke. That's the best part.
Oh, I thought something was going wrong.
No, he's the POV character. He's the sidekick that has to have everything explained to him. He's Robin, who's like, oh, why has the Joker taken the baseball diamond from the downtown Mallory Gallery? I just mixed that with Great Muppet Caper, but you get the idea. That's who Jack Burton
That's
is.
the kind of movie I want to see, by the way.
Oh, you've never seen The Great Muppet Caper?
No. I gotta watch it.
Yes, you do. It's so good. There will be festivals. There will be sights to see.
But haven't you seen the Muppet movie with Jason Segel? And
I've seen every Muppet movie.
okay, so you know, am I a man?
Am I a Muppet or a man?
Or am I a Muppet? Am I a Muppet? Okay, anyway. Yeah.
Perfectly said.
What went right?
So obviously, this film wasn't exactly Liz's cup of tea, but certainly there must be some redeeming aspects. So lay it on me, Liz. What did John Carpenter, Kurt Russell, Gary Goldman, W.D. Richter, and the ancient gods of China get right?
Well, I will bring up the most redeemable quality of this film. What saves it for me, kind of, is James Hong as David Lopin.
Excellent.
Incredible. Steals the show. I won't tell you to watch this film, but just know he is a major part of what makes this film what it is. Second, the score is sick as hell, okay? John Carpenter did his thing on this one. 80s synth is going crazy. He really, I think this was like a passion project. Oh, you said that. It is. He wanted to make a martial arts film and he did. I think I was reading some Reddit forums last night and some were saying, I was really wanted to know about the cultural appropriation aspect of this film. And a Reddit user was saying that this film came from a place of love from John Carpenter. I mean, who's to say? Because some people could be like, well, I'm wearing this dress and it's coming from a place of love because I love this dress and I really appreciate the culture. Anyway, so people were saying in its time, like you can't really separate old Hollywood and cultural appropriation. They kind of go hand in hand. You can't be like, no, it wasn't cultural appropriation because, you know, it is and it was and we can be better and we are better now. Let's hope we get better. But people were saying that this was sort of his love letter to the culture that he so admired. And I can kind of see that too.
I would say, unlike Emilia Perez, a film that we've covered,
Yeah.
he went out and got authorities on this.
Yes.
And he asked the actors for their inputs, and he wanted to make sure that there was a conversation that was going on. And that was also one of the reasons why they wanted to mock the traditional Hollywood hero.
Exactly. The mocking. That's what I was about to bring up next.
Because he personally, John Carpenter, was tired of these white saviors coming in and solving non-white problems. And initially, while the film was in production, there was a fair amount of pushback from the Asian American community, specifically the Chinese American community, who felt that it was going to indulge in stereotypes and other things of that nature, which had happened before. And that didn't entirely die down when the film was released, partly because the film was a bomb. It kind of faded a little bit, but many people have come to look at it and say, well, it's not a perfect film from that regard. I think that that's fair to say. I will also say it's heads and tails better than many other examples of this kind of film that were coming out at that point. And there was an effort that was made there.
Yeah, I agree. In my notes, I literally wrote, Kurt Russell is the personality hire. It is what it felt like. I thought his character, I mean, it was such a dude guy, bro. But he was, you know, he's our guy. Sure, he's cool. I like him.
He's like Johnny Bravo. Hey there, pretty mama. Oh.
Yeah?
He's this over-the-top macho Americana guy who never really succeeds and is always being mocked, and he never realizes it.
He is Johnny Bravo. That's crazy. I want to go watch Johnny Bravo.
That's such a great
Remember
show.
Boomerang? Let's move on. CGI was pretty on par with the time, but I think it was quite good. I enjoyed the effects, even though they were a little cheesy. That little biblically accurate angel eye looking thing, that was pretty cool. And then we got stabbed in the head and made that little face. That was really funny, I'm not going to lie, but I think I was laughing at it and not with it. Finally, the practical effects were also really rad. And though I dog on the Jim Henson puppets, they were cool too. Weird addition, but cool. What went wrong?
And now we get to Liz's favorite part of this episode. What went wrong? You texted me multiple times while you watched this film, Liz. Here are some quotes, and these are direct quotes. What the f*** is this movie, Steele? What is going on? Why did you make me watch this? Do you actually enjoy this movie? This is a joke. So, Liz, what exactly went wrong for you?
First of all, you're really exposing me. But honestly, all still true. I still stand by all of my text messages. So many things went wrong still. So many things. Didn't the script make you want to barf? You always talk about exposition and how a script like like you said you had trouble with Bring It On. Okay, listen, I also had trouble with the script too, but I think the scripts were both equally very bad. Very bad. No, we're talking about martial arts in one and cheerleading in the other. Like that another, like on the same spectrum almost. Like kind of, how did we manage to do that?
We are just on the same wavelength. It's why we host this podcast together.
Listen, okay, back to the script. Talk about exposition. This is like a masterclass in how not to do exposition in a film. A literal quote from the movie, if I may. Don't worry, it's only me, Gracie Law.
That's hilarious.
But it was said unironically.
No, it was
Steele.
entirely ironic.
It was unironic.
There's
It was unironic. I went back and I watched it to make sure, and it's unironic. She's like, don't worry. She rips off her coat from the rain. Why is she dressed like the old hag from Snow White? Someone explain.
There is not a single serious note in this entire film. This is played tongue, not so much in cheek as in ripping out of a cheek and going across the room. This is a big gag.
Maybe you should have like give me a little preface, like you said, you should have said, go in, don't be serious about it. Here I am trying to be a serious. You didn't. You said, ooh, I'm excited for you to watch it with your hands maniacally moving together like you were low and pawn. Just kidding. I'm making all that up about you, but it's okay. I think it's really good for the audience to get a really good visual since they don't know what we look like. The woman can't do lick in this film. Okay.
I can't argue that.
Yeah, you can't. You're correct. You're right. They have to sit back and let the men handle it or get involved and mess up the plans. What the hell?
There are a couple sexy fighters in there, a little foxy boxing going on.
What? I guess so. They're like the ladies that are like keeping the women prisoner for the prostitution ring. They start fighting the back. No, it's not enough. This movie is way too long. Bleep me out, please. Way too long. I was an hour in and I still had more to go. I thought I was almost done. The plot was all over the place. I never knew what to follow until I did, but even then I would still catch myself saying, what the heck? The green contacts, we're coming back to that. Wrong, bad, wrong on so many levels. Bad, wrong, bad, wrong. We could have taken out those slow motion walking down the aisle scenes showing off their skills from the storms. That could have been shorter. I can list many parts that either didn't need to be there or could have been shorter. Also, plot holes. Why were there monsters? Where did they come from? What was their purpose? We don't know. Was there going to be a sequel? Was that what that little monster at the end was all about? Was there supposed to be a Big Trouble in Little Chinatown but in New York now? I don't know. John, is he still alive?
Yes, he's still alive.
Oh, John, I love you.
Do you?
I do. Halloween's great.
The Fog?
Actually, that's when the people come out of the fog with the red eyes.
Yes.
Oh, I haven't seen it, but I did see The Mist, which was inspired by the fog.
Kind of, but yes.
I'm lying. I don't know. I'm making that up. I mean, it's the same premise. I started watching Escape from New York last night with Kurt Russell. I got literally 5 minutes in. I am in love. I needed to watch it, but it was too late in the night and I had to go to bed. But I was like, wait, what a great premise. And then they have like the very 80s like laser screen and they're showing the rules of the Manhattan and how Manhattan is now a prison. And I was like, what would I do? How would I escape Manhattan? It's crazy to think that like now there's a prison where I'm like living. So I really want to watch it. I'm going to watch it tonight. I'm very excited for Escape from New York.
Please tell me how you react because I love that movie.
Yeah?
Call me Snake. The name's Pliskin.
Oh. See, yeah, I don't get it, but I'm sure it will. I was angry by the end of this film. So annoyed and so angry. I found myself, for lack of a better word, if anything, this is the best word, discombobulated.
Ooh.
That's all. Thank you.
I like that. I'm rubbing off on you.
Yeah, a little bit. Bifurcated, discombobulated. And you said a weird word at the beginning, but I wasn't going to try and stop you, explain it for my audience. Because if you're bringing my audience in, not that we're dumb. We're not dumb. We are smart. Smart girls stick together. Girls in STEM.
Have I ever insulted you, Liz?
No, never. I'm just saying like some of the words you say I don't know. And so I have to go in and look them up while you're talking and be like, yes, Steele. But honestly, that's what you would do anyway if you don't know the word. What am I saying? I'm a smart girl. Judgment.
The critics in the crowd aren't divided on this one. The past and the present are. Fans and critics alike derided Big Trouble in Little China when it came out, but now both groups fawn over this little wuxia film that could. They are not the arbiters, however. Liz Ramirez is. You know my take, but Liz, would you ever recommend this to someone who has tastes such as yourself?
Short answer, no. Long answer, hell no. This movie gets a half star from me, solely based on the hotness of Kurt Russell and the iconicness of James Hong. I just don't think the film knows how to handle all the plot it decided to dish out. To me, it felt like I was watching a movie that used the first draft of its script. It's got things going for it like its campy nature and its super time capsule 80s vibe, but other than that, it's not one I would add to a Letterboxd recommendation anytime soon.
Well, you're wrong, but that's okay, because I'm about to be wrong too as we get into the second part of today's homework episode. Bring it on, In It to Win It.
Hold on to your pom-poms and choke that spirit stick as we take a dive into the mystical land of West Side high school cheerleading.
That's not the only thing that Carson's going to be choking on.
You really gotta go there? They are teenagers!
They are not teenagers.
Okay, no, but okay, you know what I mean.
Context.
Bring It On, In It to Win It was the fourth entry into the Bring It On franchise. After the smash hit first film, producers opted to go to the straight-to-DVD route with its successive films, and they obviously had a formula for success, as the entire series became a cottage industry of sorts with a specific formula. Self-contained stories about the cheerleading competitions between two rival groups that include dance-offs, killer soundtracks, and an increasing lack of the themes or commentary on cultural appropriation that made this film such a crossover hit.
No, seriously, go see the first movie. It's great. I have a funny story about the third Bring It On movie, however.
Oh, do tell.
So I was at NYU, and almost every person in the Tisch arts program there has to go through this kind of mandatory onboarding process, which includes a course called Writing the Essay, in which various TAs and graduate students teach students how to write an essay in case they've never really written an essay before, or have never successfully written an essay before because they're dancers or actors or cinematographers, yada, yada, yada. So most of the people who are in the graduate programs are high-level graduate teachers. So my own teacher, he was a conductor and a composer. So my friend was in a group and they were having kind of like a round table discussion, and they were discussing his essay, and there were some pretty scathing notes apparently about this, and he kind of got his hackles in a twist, to mix a metaphor, and he said, well, look, it's not great. I'm trying to write an essay. I've never really been an essay guy. It's not that bad. It's not like the third Bring It On movie or something like that. And apparently the TA's face dropped. And she said, apparently, my best friend wrote that movie. And apparently my friend said, well, then you should give her a writing lesson then.
That is crazy. Y'all Tisch people don't play.
Also, one more note. The first film was turned into a musical with music and lyrics by Lin-Manuel Miranda. This was the year before Hamilton. You've got to be kidding me.
Yes, I actually did that show in high school. I played Nautica, singing, "It ain't no thing." Could I dance? Questionable. Could I hit the notes? Also questionable. Did I give it my all or nothing?
Questionable.
No, hey, see what I did there? All or nothing? Bring it all. Abso-freaking-lutely, I gave it my all, okay? In It to Win It, as stated, was the third sequel to the original film. A synopsis.
Two rival cheerleading squads face off for a chance to win it all at a prestigious cheer camp. But when the captain of one squad begins to fall for a lead male cheerer on the other, sparks fly and jealousy sizzles. There are hidden agendas, roller coasters, cleavage, and abs, especially abs, as the teams compete, learn, and finally come together in a heartwarming, pulse-pounding tale of competition. Also abs.
The movie was shot on location at Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida. Some of my/Steele's favorite Nickelodeon shows were shot there back in the day, including Clarissa Explains It All, Roundhouse, All That, Welcome Freshmen, Legends of the Hidden Temple, Wienerville, My Brother and Me, The Mystery Files of Shelby Woo, Kenan and Kel, Nickelodeon Arcade, Guts, and numerous versions of Double Dare.
How many of these do you know?
Okay, let's see. Kenan and Kel, and All That. This is all that. This is all that.
Check it out, yeah.
That is such a good show. It's Kid SNL.
It is Kid SNL, and just like SNL, it's okay.
Rude.
Even at the time, I could tell, yeah.
I loved it. I mean, I wasn't alive for it, but like I loved it. I watched the reruns at Nick at Night.
It disgusts me to my core every time you tell me that a show that I grew up with is on Nick at Night. I watched every episode of every one of those series. I was a neglected child. Explains a lot, doesn't it?
So, Steele, what did you know about this film coming into today's double feature?
I had seen the first film and loved it. Like I've said before on several episodes of the show, I think it's a genuinely sweet, funny, and adventurous film that has a lot of thematic heft, way more than would appear on first glance. I never got around to seeing the sequels, however. Disney had burned me with various straight-to-VHS sequels, beginning with The Return of Jafar.
Oh, man.
And I came to view any non-theatrical sequel as a cash grab. Looking back, I have no regrets. I came into this film blind, save for my fond recollections of the first movie. What about you, Liz?
As I have stated in a previous episode, this is one of the 3 movies I have ever used my parents' money to buy on iTunes.
Oh, that's right. I had forgotten about that.
Mind you, we were going through a recession at the time, but, it couldn't touch me because I had my childlike sense of wonder and Bring It On, In It to Win It, by my side. There is a handful of movies that have altered my genetic makeup as a child, and this is absolutely one of them. It's fierce, it's camp, it's fun for all the girlies. This was a must-watch for our first homework episode, Steele. I took the liberty of happily rewatching this film myself, and boy, was I giddy the whole time. You could not wipe the smile from my face. I did also go like, oh my god, what the heck, a lot, too. Rewatching, I was shocked at a lot of the things that went over my head, but also just wow. The script, you're right. I won't disagree with you about that at all.
I haven't even said my piece about the script yet. Spoiler alert.
Oh.
It's not that good. The premise.
Well, Steele, the shoe is on the other foot, isn't it? Or should I say the skirt is on the other booty?
Nobody wants to see my booty in a skirt. That I can promise you.
Mm-hmm. So now it's your turn to cover the premise of your half of this double feature episode. Bring it on. In it to win it. You've got 2 minutes on the clock. Any last words?
I regret every life choice that has brought me to this very moment. It's Camp Spirit Thunder Week at Universal Studios. All the top cheerleading squads from around the country are here to compete for ultimate bragging rights. Carson leads the Sharks against their rivals, the Jets. Yes, the Sharks and the Jets. And their captain, Brooke. Brooke has led the Jets to victory 3 years in a row, but there's a wrench in the works this year in the form of Penn. He's a hottie on the Jets with abs to drool over, and boy, does Carson drool. Alas, they must call all of their romance off due to their team's rivalry, which is inflamed when the Sharks acquire the Camp Spirit Stick, a totem that the team must guard to show their zeal. Carson's on duty while her team parties, but loses it after agreeing to go on a date with Penn, who reveals that he's there on the Jets' time because he can't have his father pay for his ride, as it'll reveal that Penn is a cheerleader. Their respective teams catch them letting loose, however, and Carson is without the Spirit Stick. Carson thinks this is all a ploy of Penn's and reveals his secret to all. Too little, too late, the Sharks are now cursed. Well, maybe not. The Sharks call upon their inner Satanists and hold a ceremony to invoke the divinity of the cheer gods and beg for forgiveness. Maybe it would have worked, maybe it wouldn't, but the Jets aren't going to let this heretical scene continue. They engage in a cheer rumble that brings Orlando's finest down on the group. After injuries, arrests, and ruined mascara, both troops are expelled from the competition. This is a giant black eye in the entire sport of cheerleading. They don't even have enough cheerleaders to compete. Not so fast. Brooke and Carson join forces. If they combine the remnants of each of their squads, they may still have a shot. There's some rivalry and hurt feelings, but this is too important a competition to pass up. The Sharks and the Jets become the Shets, bonding not just in name but also in spirit. Carson and Penn patch things up, in particular, and the troop gives it their all in one final cheer-off against Camp Victory, Camp Spirit Thunder's rival, winning it with a new routine based on the Double Dragon roller coaster from Universal. Pour one out for the end of a legend. Penn and Carson learned that it was Camp Victory that stole the Spirit Stick in hopes of undermining both teams, and now bonded over the return of Spirit Thunder's pole. Carson and Penn kiss with plans of working on a pole of their own. How'd I do, Liz?
Ooh. Wow, that was a lot. I mean, yeah, you got the basic things, but I mean, you're kind of like missing the fun little intervening, but I guess you can't really add it because it's a synopsis and you have to fit it all in 2 minutes. But like, like her nickname is Skiz. That's the nickname he gives her. What else? You're missing the Jaws ride. You're missing the strip poker that they played. You're missing the divorce. The divorce. They have to go against the like secondary team like for the Spirit Championships, but the divorced couple, they're going at it with each other. That's hilarious. What else? I mean, I guess you like got the basic premise, but you're just kind of lacking any of the fun. I'm gonna give you an A-.
A-? I'll take that.
Yeah, I mean, it was better than mine. Whatever. I mean, yours was longer than mine. Maybe I should make mine longer.
I appreciate your objectivity and recognizing the brilliance that is my insight. Memorable scenes.
Let's begin with memorable scenes, because there are a few. And by a few, I mean a lot. The opening chainsaw nightmare, the spirit stick seance, the Jaws animatronic cockblock. And wait, I just have to add that I was trying to find another less vulgar term for cockblock last night, and Reddit very quickly gave me answers that I will be adding to my vocab. Here are the top 3.
Liz's top 3 cockblock euphemisms.
Coitus preventus, phallic inhibitor, and my personal favorite, cooter refuter. Isn't that so funny? Cooter refuter?
Cooter refuter.
I love Reddit. But enough about me. This was your part of our double feature, Steele.
Yeah, I even had to pay to rent this. Thanks, Liz. But no, seriously, the opening sequence almost had me rolling my eyes until I realized that it was evoking the dream sequence of the first film. There were also the many, many scenes of dancing. I'm sorry, cheering. I wasn't a huge fan of the dialogue, more on that in a second, but this film understood the assignment. Give me tastefully underclothed teens, and I use quotation marks there, doing cheer routines with visual flair and just enough story. Literally, just enough story to get me through it. Some highlights. Penn's first appearance. They're outside Dueling Dragons, which is in Universal Studios' Islands of Adventure, or was. Love that park. Spider-Man is the best ride in existence. And he's shirtless? Shirtless at a theme park. That's a choice, not even the water park. Their flirtation is so cringeworthy. I texted you immediately and had to tell you that I almost stopped the film then and there. Fans of the critics in the crowd will remember that cringe is not my cup of tea, regardless. There's the confrontation between the Jets and the Sharks. Sorry, the names, really. Anyway, the rivalry is ratcheted up appropriately. Both Brooke and Carson are nasty without being over the top. We can understand the reconciliation later. And that reconciliation, it's a by-the-numbers plot twist, but I actually think it works. The first film had a reconciliation that was so brief that if you blinked, you missed it almost literally. In a movie that I really enjoy, I will take every opportunity to criticize that. So here, I have to give props for the film taking the time to set up the turnaround, the fights, the double crosses, and more. Also, as absurd as the invocation scene is, I do love that they don't back down at all. They go whole hog. Perhaps they are in it to win it. What went right?
I hate that I thought that was good. Well, Steele. It sounds like you like this movie.
Not so fast. Not so fast. I didn't.
No, okay, let's continue on. There must have been things that you felt went right. So let's keep this momentum going and see if I can get you to say those 4 magic words.
Jet fuel can't melt steel beams? No, wait, that's 6 words. I have no clue.
I know I have more lines, but I have to take a moment. Wow, Steele. We have to pause for a second. That was so funny.
Anyway, I feel this movie evokes the spirit of the first film. It's very blonde, upper middle class heavy, but the dancing is good. The direction is decent. It looks a little cheap, but it is straight to DVD, so given its budget and constraints, I actually think it pulls off a lot of good stuff. I mentioned a lot of this in the memorable scenes up front. They weren't just memorable because they were outlandish, although they are. There were a lot of smaller things and smaller moments that I did enjoy in this. And once again, it does understand its audience. All of the abdominal muscles, everywhere. Okay, that's what this film's audience wants. There are hot boys that young women want to be with, and there are hot girls that young women want to be, and they're all dancing together, and they look great, and they're having fun, and it's at an amusement park, and it's at a cheerleading competition. It does what it needs to do for the people who want this kind of movie. What went wrong?
I'm once again holding my breath, Steele. It actually kind of sounds like you liked this movie. Uh-oh. Okay. Tell me what went wrong.
The dialogue. It caused me to physically recoil at points. The scene between Carson and Aisha, where Carson admits that she's crushing hard on Penn, a guy who she literally met for 2 minutes and whose sole endearing attribute is abdominal muscles, I was recoiling like a vampire in sunlight. It's also paint by the numbers, which isn't strictly a sin, but the whole premise is absurd. Okay, they're at Universal Studios. I love roller coasters. Give it to me. But why would they be rehearsing in the actual theme park? And there's a rival camp, or they're separate organizations? Why aren't they at the same park at the same time? What is going on with this finale and the reveal of the true theft of the spirit stick? Are we actually invoking the spirits to lift this curse? This film is wild. And you complain about Big Trouble in Little China.
This film is not that wild, okay? It's just high schoolers being high schoolers at a cheer competition, being, I don't know what that term is, when they're just kind of catty, or they're being catty. It's camp, but like Big Trouble in Little China. I don't see any Jim Henson puppets in Bring It On and It's Win It. I don't see any magical beings coming down from the sky. I just see kids having a good fun time and coming together to be something bigger than themselves.
I'll also say it's remarkably whitewashed. It's not nearly as bad as it could have been, or as so many of its contemporary films are. But the first film was about cultural appropriation and socioeconomic strife. This film is about spirit sticks and Universal Studios. Judgment.
Bring It On, In It to Win It doesn't qualify for standard critics in the crowd consideration, as it only has not one, not two, but 3 reviews from the pros on Rotten Tomatoes. All 3 of them are negative. They just don't get it. The audience, however, is much more approving, with 70% of over 25,000 ratings being positive. Where do you fall, Steele? In the nebulousness of not applicable, or the approval of the internet hordes?
I have to admit, I came into this movie expecting garbage, and I got...
Gold?
No, not that good.
Not garbage.
Yeah, not garbage. I can't defend this film's dialogue, but it wasn't offensive. I don't mind the tropes. I get that it has to be a little paint by numbers. I enjoyed the visuals even. Out of all the straight-to-DVD VHS films I've ever seen, this is easily top 25%. That being said, it's such a low bar, and this falls into the greatest of all sins. I just feel it was lazy. It relies on the prettiness to sell it, when adding just a tad more narrative flair would have actually made it a fun sequel. As it is, I wouldn't recommend it to any film buffs, but if you like the first Bring It On film, I'd actually tell you to give this a shot. It's not high art, it's barely popcorn, but it does a serviceable job of carrying on the prestige of the first movie. It's no Step Up to the Streets, but what is?
Well, Steele, that was our first homework episode. We laughed, we cried, mostly cried. I whined a lot, actually. But we made it through, so you didn't have to.
But I say that you, the audience out there, should take a swing at both Big Trouble in Little China and Bring It On In It to Win It, but mostly the former.
Hey! Well, I say Big Trouble in Little China is not worth your time. Unless you like to get headaches from the films you watch. Or if, you're like Steele and you're just like a dude bro guy who likes that kind of stuff. And as for Bring It On In It to Win It, maybe just put it on while you're doing laundry. It's a fun, hassle-free flick that may make you lose a brain cell or two. But I still love it. Well, that was our first double feature episode. We'll be back to your regularly scheduled programming next episode. Parting thoughts, Steele?
Bring it on. In it to win it. Like Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah. The Critics in the Crowd is hosted by Liz Ramirez and Steele Philippek. Editing and production handled by Steele. Social media by Wendy Dobkin. Logo by Aria Feliciano. Music by Joel Studler, provided by a Humble Bundle. All audio effects are sourced through freesound.org and used under the Creative Commons license. If you feel that we used a piece of audio to which you own the rights, please email helmstarmedia@gmail.com.
This episode was recorded at the Communipub branch of the Jersey City Public Library. Special thanks to Kyle Ramsey and all of the amazing librarians at this location throughout the United States and throughout the world.
To quote Ta-Nehisi Coates, the classroom was a jail of other people's interests. The library was open, unending, free.